Anti-authority tech rebels take on ISPs and connect New York City with cheap Wi-Fi. Now, this is, of course, having to do with net neutrality and municipal internet. What's the next big date to remember? The next big date to remember is May 9th, because that's when they're going to force a vote on the CRA. What's the CRA? That gives Congress the ability to overturn the FCC rules to gut net neutrality, to overturn that and preserve net neutrality. Is this a long shot? Yes, because we need approval from Congress and from Trump. Is it worth doing anyway? Yes, because it prolongs things, at least for a while, and ties things up. And they're going to force that vote. They're going to force that vote on May 9th. And look, I know this administration has already proved they don't give a hoot about public opinion, but again, this is something that they'd really have to thumb their nose at public opinion to not go along with if the Senate can get this through, because 83% of people want net neutrality. So, and I would argue the people that don't are misguided on the topic. But regardless, that's a lot of people, and the midterms are coming. So, you know, it's still worth pursuing, even though, as you guys have heard me say time and time again, the permanent fix for net neutrality is municipal broadband all around the country. That's the permanent fix. And, you know, I'm all about state net neutrality laws. I'm all about the CRA. I'm all about petitions. I'm all about fighting this with everything we have, because that's how important the free and open internet is. Otherwise, none of us would be able to be here right now. We wouldn't be able to do this right frickin' now. So, that being said, here's someone in New York that's really doing something interesting about it. Anti-authority tech rebels take on the ISPs, and they're connecting New York City with cheap Wi-Fi. This is New York Mesh, which is run by volunteers. It's a promise that seems almost too good to be true. Super fast internet that's cheap. That's not a pipe dream for Brian Hall. It's his goal. The lead volunteer behind the community group NYC Mesh aims to bring affordable internet with lightning-quick downloads to everyone in New York, one building at a time. Our typical speeds are 80 to 110 megabits a second. And he points out that Netflix only requires about 5 Mbps. CBC's News joined him one afternoon on a roof in a Brooklyn neighborhood of Greenpoint. So, what is a mesh network? Picture a spider web of wireless connections. This from the article. The main signal originates from what's called the supernode. It's a direct plug into the internet via an internet exchange point, the same place ISPs get their connection. The signal from the supernode, sent out wirelessly via an antenna, covers an area of several kilometers. From there, a mesh of smaller antennas spread out on rooftops or balconies, and they receive that signal. Each supernode can connect thousands of users. Mesh networks are an alternative to standard ISP hookups. This is a quote from him. You're not provided with an internet connection through their cable, but through, in our case, Wi-Fi networks. NYC Mesh brought an industrial-strength connection to the internet right at an internet exchange point. NYC Mesh then installed an antenna on the roof of the IXP. That became the supernode, the heart of its mesh networks. So ISPs, according to, like when you look at it from the standpoint of mesh networks, ISPs are a, quote, myth. That's according to this article. Zach Giles is one of the brains behind the network and one of its busiest volunteers. When he's not working his day job in finance, he's maintaining the supernode. The rooftop has become his second office. He's a mesh network evangelist who says most people don't realize they don't need to rely on traditional ISPs to get online. That's the myth of the ISP. The internet doesn't really cost you anything. It's just the connection. So however you can get plugged in, then you're on the internet. No one owns the internet. So a mesh network is a total just alternative solution. And if these volunteers in New York City can build these mesh networks and provide the service at a cost cheaper than most internet service providers and give you incredibly high quality download speeds and incredibly high quality internet, we certainly can have the infrastructure for municipal internet access all around the country. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. I already tweeted the article, Ruth. I just tweeted it. And, I'm not an expert on the tech side of things, clearly. as you saw me kind of fumble through the article. And I don't fully grasp all of it. But what I do grasp is that the infrastructure is, first of all, already there. And second of all, the infrastructure can easily be assembled to do this. We certainly have the means to do this in any given community. They're doing this in New York City, and they're volunteers. They're making these mesh networks, and they're offering internet at a lower price. If we had a municipal organization to run this, we could have the internet that other countries have. Because, you know why? Because they did this from the start. They did this from the start. They knew the internet was a utility meant for the public good. And this has been going on for years. This sounds subversive. Will the FCC try to control this? Of course they will. Of course they will. Now, what will ISPs do to crush this? I don't know if there's much they can do because it's their own infrastructure. They can't claim ownership of the infrastructure. They can only claim ownership of their infrastructure. And they technically can't harm the competition. They don't really have anything prohibiting any type of competition. What they do have are organized duopolies with other cable companies. Hence, in their mind, they don't need to quash any kind of competition because they have the organized duopoly. So, this is something interesting in the net neutrality fight, which will continue. And this type of thing is the permanent fix. What I would really love to see is I would really love to see New York City get behind these people and have a citywide effort. That's what I would really love to see. I got to look into this. I live in Queens, New York, and my internet is horrendous. Jennifer says, do it. Look into it. I tweeted the article. It gives their information. And if anyone else is in New York, I encourage you all to do the same thing. And I encourage you to give these people your business. I really do. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. They have happy customers. They get better internet than most people. And the more people utilize their services, the more they'll be able to build. So if you're in New York, please do it. And I really hope that there's more efforts like this. I really, really do. Hey guys, thanks for watching. That was a clip from Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means I log on to a stream and people tweet me articles over on Twitter at Ron Placone, or they use our Reddit subsection, which is just Get Your News On with Ron over on Reddit. And that's how we build the show. I'm seeing all these articles for the first time. We are literally getting our news on together. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone so you can participate. And this show streams live every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please do tune in. If you want to support this show, you can do so over on patreon.com/Ron Placone, where for as low as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive podcasts every week, exclusive videos, free tickets to shows when I'm performing in your town, and more for as low as $1 a month. Please do consider it. Thank you so much for your support. This has been Get Your News On with Ron.